Chakras and Cream and you come to visit us, then you would definitely have seen our amazing collection of tattooed stones we have here. And that's all down to this lovely gentleman here called Keith, who is the owner, founder, creator and maker of tattooed stones. So tell us more about these tattooed stones then, Keith.
Well, a long time ago I was involved with the Theosophical Society, and I discovered megaliths and megalithic artwork as a part of that. I made the first one in 1999. It was made from chicken wire and wood, and the outside was plaster. It was painted and it lasted outside for about 18 months before it completely fell to pieces.
Oh dear, okay.
And then I shelved it. I shelved the whole idea for 8 years. And I started making tattooed stones when I moved back to Somerset.
And what are they made of? So
These days,
yeah,
they're made from concrete. They have a lightweight centre, and the outside is rendered onto this lightweight centre. 2 or more coats, depending on what I'm making at the time, and then they're coloured with something called latex concrete.
right. So they look like they should be ridiculously heavy, but presumably they're not actually that heavy.
They're not as heavy as they would be if they were made entirely of concrete.
No. So we've had these tattooed stones here for just over a year now, and did you know, Keith, this is one of the most popular ones. Children are just loving to like stick their head through and have their photo taken.
Fantastic. Do their parents take pictures of them?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, lovely.
Now this one's something to do with a pregnant lady, isn't it?
Yes, it's called The Pregnant Woman, although I translated it into French, but I can't remember what the title is now.
So tell me a little about the process, Keith, because this looks really labour intensive. Do you literally sit and carve out each of these concentric circles and all of this by hand?
I do. I've got a special tool that allows me to make it a bit quicker, but the process is actually called sgraffito. I render up one layer of yellow, another layer of blue, and then carve through one to expose the other.
Wow.
The problem is if you make a mistake, if something is too dry and falls off, it can cause a problem. It can take a long time to put right.
Wow, amazing. So tell us a little about this one as well.
This is the second one I've made with this design. I call it the calendar stone, and it's the legend is that this is the earth and things happening in the earth, a seed pod that then gives forth to this plant. This is the calendar itself, and the crenellations or the zigzag is about the passage of time, and clearly that's the sun. The thing above it all is about the heavens and the passage of time through the heavens, so spring to summer and all the rest of it.
Oh, wow, I had no idea that it had a whole story behind it. That's amazing.
This is probably the only one that does.
Fab, so I've learned so much about these, even though they've been here for about just over a year. Let's head up into the field. We've got a whole other set of them up there, and we'll show everybody the ones up here.
Okay, thank you.
So I want to show you this particular stone here because it's got quite a good story behind it. So tell us about this one, Keith.
Well, I made this one for Somerset Art Week. The idea was to make something big, a little bit outlandish, and place it in front of County Hall in Taunton. I hoped it was going to generate some interest, maybe a slot in the television, with me being told to take it away, but to be absolutely honest, there wasn't a squeak.
So now it's here and it looks amazing here.
The other side's much better.
Yes, because you've got Somerset Art Weeks on the back, haven't
Yeah.
you? So hopefully it would have got a lot of publicity, but
Yeah.
sadly, didn't work, Keith. Nice try though. So this is my favourite one, Keith.
Really?
Yeah, I really like the colour of it, I like the shape of it, I like the design on it. Has this one proved popular?
Well, I've sold 3 of these. This one, as you know, we had an accident with a mishap when we put it in.
Yeah.
And that's why this is a slightly different colour, because put a stake through the middle to hold it in place, and it managed to knock the top off, so I had to redo the top.
Yeah.
It's called the sunstone actually.
So when you agreed, Keith, that we were going to be your venue for Art Weeks, I actually had no idea how many stones you were planning on bringing here. So we'd set up those ones that we just saw originally, and then he was like, well, I've got a few more. And I said, well, actually, we've got this circle that we've planted some trees out. We've made planted a little woodland. How about we make some sort of stone circle? I can't remember whose idea it was. And so this is what we've created here, is our own kind of mini Stonehenge tattooed stone circle, which everybody absolutely loves, and we've had so many comments on how peaceful it is in here and how much people enjoy just coming into this space.
That's brilliant, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's really lovely. So the other stone I wanted to talk about was this one over here.
This stone is called the Holy Chakras, but it had a bit of a checkered history, does this stone. When I first made it, it was going to be the Ilminster Eye, and this part was just a hole, and so was this. But my wife decided it looked a bit too much like a penis. So I asked my children, and they both agreed. So I had to fill the middle in, and the hole at the top, and it became the Holy Chakras.
Much better, I think.
Actually, I was quite pleased with the outcome in the end.
Yeah.
I did like the idea of the Ilminster Eye though. I might make another one, but different shape of one eye.
And the beauty of these stones is that you can pretty much customise them. If somebody comes up with an idea, you could make anything, couldn't you?
Yeah, indeed. I make things called garden keepers, which I think we're showing a bit later on. And the garden keepers were really created for cremated remains of pets or people, and I custom make those to people's requirements.
So they can have any colour,
any shape, any design. Yep. Well, Vicky, this one is a copy of the first one I made. Do you remember I told you I made the first one in 1999 or 2000, and I made it from chicken wire and ply, and I put plaster over it, and it fell apart within about 18 months. About 10 years later, I made this based on photographs of that very first one. I was quite pleased with how it turned out, and it.
And am I right in thinking this is supposed to be a sort of a seat?
Yeah, my first wife decided they were called situ bums.
Situ bums. So this shape must have been so difficult to create.
Do you know, it really was very hard to get the shape right. But I enjoyed making it, and I'm very pleased with the way it's worked out, and it's weathered incredibly well. I think it has anyway. What do you think?
Yeah, no, it has really well.
Yeah.
Because it's considering it's been here for over a year.
Yeah.
Out in the sun and all the elements.
Yep.
So what's this one called then?
This one's called Twisted Stone with Flower.
Could you not come up with a better name than that, Keith?
Simplicity's the key, Vicky. So
these are your garden keepers then, Keith. So tell us a little bit about these.
Well, to be honest with you, Vicky, this was my wife's idea originally. She thought that the garden keepers would be a good way to store cremated remains in the garden. People have so many issues with cremated remains, not knowing what to do with them. People often keep them for years in their wardrobes and things. Some people put them in the garage. I had one lady who was having to move, and she'd had her daughter's ashes interred in her garden, and when she moved, she wanted to take them with her. So she got the undertaker to exhume them and had me create one of these for them, and she's very happy with it now. It went with her on the move, and that's one of the big advantages of the garden keepers, is that you can move them with you. I also make bird baths for the storage of cremated remains too, and I've got a lady who's had a bird bath created for her front garden, which she's very delighted with. So I make quite a lot of these. I make them specific or bespoke to a customer's needs. In 2019 I lost my Uncle John, and I was contacted by my auntie and my cousin to make two stones, the same, but they had to have a Jersey tiger moth on each. The Jersey tiger moth had been a moth that was on the window of his bedroom the last 3 days of his life. And so I made this stone, and I had to keep them for the best part of 3 months before they could be delivered, because the commission happened during lockdown, and I wasn't able to get the stones to them until after lockdown ended.
So just to show everybody, these are fairly light, aren't they? They're all hollow inside. So you can, and then what happens? You put the ashes in, and then do you seal up the bottom?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, they're actually quite heavy when the ashes are in there, because typically ashes are between 4 and 6 pounds in weight, so they're quite a weight.
Wow.
But yeah, that's what happens. They go in, they're sealed in. I usually put, or I can put the ashes in a plastic bag so they can be retrieved if people want to. and they're sealed in they're double wrapped in plastic bags and then sealed in. With the pets, I tend to put them in as part of the mix, so that you can't retrieve a dog or a cat's ashes or rabbit's ashes for that matter. They are part of the stone.
Oh, wow.
But people's, I can, upon request, put them in double wrapped plastic and then seal them in afterward. They're all watertight and fine, because this stuff has a waterproof additive added to it, so that the inside is quite dry.
Okay. And roughly how much do these kind of retail for?
I sell these with nothing in them, so empty, just as garden ornaments, for 75 quid. If I put the ashes in them, I charge 150.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Keith, for taking the time out to talk to us today about your remarkable and very unique stones. I've never known anything like it before, so we really appreciate it.
Well, I'm very pleased to come. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for allowing me to put my stones here on your glamping site.
Our pleasure.
Thank you.